Don't stand, don't stand, don't stand so close to me. Great old song that's so pertinent these days. Hi everybody, bacon again today. My producer put it out to my 4 or 5 fans that I take requests. Wow, he's getting bossy. Anyway, the big request came back with a few agreements for lava cake. Some people call it molten chocolate cake, lava cake. Well, I found this old recipe of my mom's called sublime chocolate cake. And that's exactly what it is. So ingredients, boy, there's not much in here. It's all how you cook it. Chocolate, this is Callebaut dark chocolate. You can use bittersweet, you could use Baker's, but you know what? Safeway sells hunks of Callebaut chocolate, like about a pound, for 12 bucks. I often get them on sale for 10. So when you're using something where the main ingredient is chocolate, use a good one. I weighed it out on my handy dandy scale because you need 6 ounces, and cutting off a chunk like that, I didn't know how much. I use this thing all the time. It's the handiest 20 bucks I ever spent. We have butter. We're going to melt those together. Bunch of eggs and just a tiny bit of flour. Some people might even call this a flour-less chocolate cake, but we are going to use 1/3 cup. So to get this all underway, the first thing we have to do is melt our chocolate and butter together. So I have my 6 ounces of dark chocolate in a small pan, as well as 2/3 cup of butter. Now I've got this on quite low because melting chocolate can be quite tricky. If you take your eyes off of it and it burns, it becomes something you can't believe chocolate can become. A lot of people insist you do this over a double boiler. To be honest, I've never used a double boiler in my life. I hate doing dishes. Some people say use your microwave, and set it for every 30 seconds and check on it. Yeah, no, that terrifies me. If you go over 10 seconds, once again, you're going to get a massive chocolate that you can't believe. It's so dark and crispy and ugly. So I'm just going to melt this really slowly on the stove here. Combine the butter and chocolate, keep my eye on it, and we'll come back when it's all melty smooth and cooled a little bit. Hi there, we're back. Look at that smooth, silky chocolate. Beautiful. Now we just want that to cool down a little bit. Once again, we don't want to put anything hot into this many eggs or they could scramble. So the next part, we need 3 full eggs and 3 egg yolks. Now I'm sure you all know how to separate an egg, but just in case, do this. Some people just let it slide through their fingers. Whatever works for you. And here's a little hint. Whenever you're using eggs, say you got a little bit of eggshell in there, a little bit of eggshell into your whites. The only way to get it out, you can chase it around with your finger for as long as you want, but really the easiest way to get it out is use a piece of the shell. You stick it in there right towards the shell, and it's like it's a magnet. It goes right into the shell like it wants to go home. Anyway, that's just a little trick. Now these leftover egg whites, which I don't need, don't throw away. They'll stay up to 4 days in the fridge, and you could use them to whip up a meringue, or one of my daughter's favorite desserts she calls heaven, but is really a pavlova, which is just baked egg whites in the oven with a bit of sugar and tartar, cream of tartar, and then covered in fruit and whipped cream. It is heavenly and light and good for you. So don't throw those out, keep them. Now to this, 3 eggs and 3 egg yolks, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of sugar. This recipe doesn't need a lot of sugar because, well, look at that pot of chocolate. Now this needs to be beaten until it's really light and fluffy, and like 4 minutes. And in this one, I really recommend you beat as long as I tell you to, because that's what's going to make the inside nice and molten. Okay, here I go, 4 minutes. See you in a bit. So I just want to show you how thick and creamy the eggs and sugar have become. They're almost like whipped cream, which is ooh la la. Now we're going to add in our cool chocolate. Get every last drop of goodness, of course. Oh, Bernard Callebaut, you are so great. Okay, every bit of chocolate in there. Now, once again, I think this is really important to get a lava cake. I'm going to have to beat this again for 5 minutes. So I'll see you then. And we're back. And look at this lovely mass, kind of sticky eggs and chocolate, basically. Well, it is a cake, so it does need a little flour. It's got to have something to keep it together. I don't know what would happen if we baked it right now. So we're just going to add 1/3 cup of flour and fold it in. And folding means just that. Use your spatula, fold, fold, fold. And you want to make sure it's quite all folded in together. Start really softly, but you don't want any big hunks of flour showing in it. You also don't want to overwork it too much. Particularly important with angel food cakes or chiffon cakes where you add just a bit of flour at the end. See, and you can still see streaks of it. That's why you use your spatula. But generally getting to be quite homogeneous. Let's go down deep again, make sure there's nothing sticking in the bottom. So that looks pretty smooth and homogeneous to me. So now, it's putting it in its container. So many recipes ask for ramekins. And amazingly enough, although I have dozens of ramekins, I did not have 6 of the correct size. If you want to know how big your ramekins are, I just take a little measuring cup. This holds 2 ounces. And pour them in, and when it reaches the top, this one is a 4 ounce, this one is a 6 ounce. But as I mentioned, I don't have enough of those, so a good alternative, because if I don't have ramekins, you guys probably don't have ramekins, my family, is if you have a muffin tin. So in this one, I have buttered. It would make 6 6-ounce ramekins, or the recipe says a non-stick bundt pan, which is still butter. So I'm going to put it into 9 large muffin tins that have been buttered. It's a non-stick pan, but it still says butter it. And because this recipe, I don't think you should fool around with very much, we're gonna do just that. They might be a little smaller than your 6-ounce ramekin, but this is quite a rich cake. Oh, I could have done 9. Maybe I'll do 9. Anyway, I'm going to use up all my batter in these muffin tins. Not overfill them too much. And into the oven, 350 degrees. And that is for 7 minutes. 7 minutes only. All right, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Hi everybody, we're back. Alrighty. So the cakes were in the oven at 350 degrees for 7 minutes. They look slightly baked on the outside and we're still really moving around in the middle. Then you cool them in the pan for 15 minutes, which I believe keeps it cooking. Now, I don't know what happened to that one. It just disappeared right out of the oven. Anyway, in order to get them out of here, we let them cool for about 20 minutes after they cooked 7 minutes in the oven, and then went in with a rather large spoon and very carefully turned them out onto the plate. Of course, after I made this recipe, I realized that my mother, when she gave me the recipe, also bought me 8 little molten chocolate cake things, which would make it really handy, because then you wouldn't have to turn them out, because these can stay in the fridge for probably quite a few days. Now I'm going to have to figure out how to get these into the fridge, whereas these would be handier. I'll probably flip these out and put them in a Tupperware, and then when I feel like a lava cake again, I just take them out of the fridge, into the oven at 350 for 5 minutes, and poof, hopefully they're still flowing. Alright everybody, that's it for today's class. There we go. There's your molten lava cake. The nice ooey gooey chocolate in the middle, little whipped cream. So light and fluffy and chocolatey. Bye for now.